Alright, what we're going to talk about today are fractions. We're going to talk about where we use them and exactly what a fraction looks like and the definition of a fraction. So right here, fractions, where do we use them? Well, there's quite a few different places where we use them. Some of the examples of where we use them could be in jewelry. Okay, in jewelry, you have earrings that could be, diamonds that are quarter carats, half carats. We also have coupons. You have rulers. You have them in recipes. We have them when we're measuring items. We have them in music, football, stats, and sacks. For example, somebody could have 13 and a half sacks. And your gas gauge on the road. On your iPods they are. So there's quite a few places where fractions are in the world. But what exactly is a fraction? Well, a fraction is basically a part of a whole. Okay, a fraction also is made up of a numerator, which is on the top of the fraction bar, and a denominator, which is on the bottom of the fraction bar. We also have that basically a fraction is a division problem. Okay, and we write this problem right here as 3 divided by 4. Well, top dog in the house, this top dog will go inside this house. And there's also a way to remember that the dividend is the house you live in. So not only is this 3 called the numerator, the part, but it is also called the dividend. D-I-V-I-D-E-N-D. And this 4, not only is it called the whole in the denominator, but it is also called the divisor. Okay, so a fraction is basically a part of a whole. But let's talk about fractions. It says in order basically to be a fraction, fractions are the parts in which the whole is divided equally. If you look right here, down below, these parts right here in this particular square, okay, these are not very good. This is not a fraction because this right here, yes, there are 4 sections, but this is not 1/4. And you can't say that this section is equivalent to that section. Now, if you look over here at this particular square, these 2 sections are equal to each other because they are divided appropriately. This section is equivalent to that section also. So this is a great example of a fraction divided equally. It's parts of a whole. This is not a good example. Okay, which fraction of each figure is shaded? Well, we have 1/2. This is 2/8, but reduced can be 1/4. We have 1/4 here. And these are 2/2, which equal to 1. These are your parts of your entire whole. We have here a number line. Here represents 0, here represents 1, and we have 2. This right here is going to be 1/2. This right here is 1 and 1/2. This right here, we have 0 on this number line, and 1 or 4/4. You can see 2/4 in the middle. So this must be 1/4, and this must be 3/4. On this final number line, we have a 0 and 1 or 3/3. So this right here must be 1/3, right here. And this right here must be 2/3. There are 3 models when we're talking about fractions. To illustrate fractions, we have the length model, which you can see are these fraction bars here. We also have the area model. So in this particular model, it says what fractional part is shaded. Well, the fractional part that is shaded is the whole is 14. And the part that is shaded is 7. 7/14 or 1/2. We also have a group model that we can make a fraction. It says what fractional part are circles? Well, 3 out of the 10 are circles. Part over whole. So we have length, area, and group model. What I'd like for you to do now is I'd like for you to take 5/8 and 2/3. I'd like for you to copy what's on the screen here. And then you can illustrate those 3 models, the group, the area, and the length model, using 5/8 and 2/3 as your examples. And this right here is an activity that you can do. I have 25 fractions. I want you to take those 25 fractions and I want you to place them in one of the 5 containers. Each container will hold 5 different fractions. The containers are less than 1/2. You have 1/2. You have between 1/2 and 1 whole, fractions that are exactly 1 whole, and fractions that are more than a whole. So for example, I'll take 2/6 here. Well, 2/6 is a fraction that is less than 1/2. So what I will do is I will write 2/6 right here, and I'll come down and I will mark out that. Why don't you go ahead and do the next 24.